Okay,
Uh-huh.
Hangout on air is live. Now, if you press on it, I think it should go on.
What am I pressing on? One
Um,
waiting.
yeah, it's gonna take time to get to YouTube now. But I'm live now, and okay, my thing. Okay, I see you. It came on. It just takes, Okay, now it's going through. I see you on my monitor. I see you, just you.
Okay, I don't see.
Yeah, you're on. It's just you on your face. And then when
All
I
right, I
press,
don't see.
okay, you get to my channel at first. You press on the actual channel, like my name,
Yeah, I did. I'm on.
and then it has selections. You could say it says um like what do you call it? When you get on YouTube, like it has videos, and then you press
Well,
on the video, the selection of videos. It's like a menu. The menu that says videos. You press on that, and it
let me
has.
show you what I.
Okay, you
I'm gonna
show me.
switch the phone.
Okay, is that the one? What does the writing say below that?
Interview with R. Rogers, Paranormal Experience.
Okay, press it and turn it on. It should come on.
I'm clicking.
I see you.
I'm
I see
showing you
it.
what I see,
I see
but it's
it.
not.
It's on.
I don't see. Waiting for Spirit Journey,
Yeah, it's on.
but I
It's
don't
on.
see it.
Okay, maybe go back. Let's see what's going on. If you go back a screen, because I see you live on it.
Because I pressed. Because this is the screen that I see now.
Okay, okay, that's not on. Okay, that I don't think that's it. Wait a minute.
Let me
Turn it.
click on.
Okay. It see
Oh,
on the
I
side.
see.
On the
I
side, it
see it
should
now,
say live.
Gaga.
Okay, I see you right
I
there.
see it now. I'm on.
Okay, must have been the top one. That's right. It, I did like the icon, but I guess
Yeah.
when I redid it, I have to change the thumbnail on it. So I could always change
Okay.
the yeah. So hi,
Hello.
hey. So
Yeah.
we're live now, and could you hear my voice?
Yeah. I'm gonna put this on pause. I'm gonna put my tablet on pause,
Okay.
and then just so this way we don't get any feedbacks.
Yeah, you could put it on mute to turn down the sound. But yeah, you're on live, and
Welcome, Julia.
yeah. So how would you like me to address you on since I'm interviewing you? How would you like me to, what do you want me to call you?
My name Robert.
Okay. Well, Robert, let me introduce you then to my audience. This is Spirit Journey. Let me put my face on. Wait a minute. You put it. Okay.
Uh huh.
Okay. This is Spirit Journey. And okay, I just see your face. Let me put my face now. Okay. This is Spirit Journey. And I have a really nice fellow here. His name is Robert. And he is a special person to me. And he's my first interview, live interview. And we
Uh huh.
are going to discuss about uh, Robert's experiences. I don't want to use the term, I know I use the term paranormal, but his uh, experiences that are things that are different than the usual. And I asked Robert if he would like to share his
Hmm.
experiences. And so Robert was really nice enough to say yes. And
Yeah.
so, I want you to feel free, Robert, to talk to our live audience. And, people will be able to do a live chat, and, they can ask questions as you talk. And so let's say you're talking, Robert, and someone types in something, what you call a live chat. um, I'll be able to tell you what the question is, and you could
Okay.
respond to them. So,
Oh, that sounds good.
yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, I'm going to interview Robert, and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself as it pertains to the subject that we're going to discuss about different things that you experience growing up. Uh, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think my first experience when I was at parents, I was living with my parents.
Okay.
The house used to the house used to have ghosts, and
Okay.
the first my one of my first experience seeing a ghost was that I was in my room and I saw this black shadow
Okay.
leaning up. It was leaning up against the wall.
Hmm.
I should say the edge of the door, and it just stayed there and was smiling. And I remembered I wanted to leave my room,
Hmm.
but I was afraid to go past it.
Okay.
So I just waited and waited until it disappeared, and it didn't leave until my father came out of the. Well, he was in the bathroom. Since he came out and the lights were on, apparition disappeared. That was one of my experiences that I had.
Was that your very first experience that you remember?
No, I think my very first. Um, I
I'm
used to
sorry.
sleep in a bunk bed. My brother he slept on the bottom. I slept on the top of the bed of the bunk bed,
Okay.
and my brother always likes to play jokes. So he used to grab the bed, grab the covers, and pull the covers off me. So when I see his hands creeping up, I start laughing because I know he's going to try to grab the covers of the sheets off me and pull it off. So I saw this hand climbing up the side of the bed, and I was starting to
I'm
laugh because,
I'm sorry. There
huh?
was some interference. Could you repeat that last part about the you were in the bed and you were sharing a room with somebody, and then you saw something happen?
Yeah, my brother and I used to share the same room. He slept on the bottom bunk. I slept on the top.
Okay.
My brother put covers off of me, but whenever I
Okay.
see his hand creeping up my bed, I start laughing because I'm going to hit him. I was going to hit his hand to keep him from pulling the covers off me. But the
Wow.
hand kept on coming with it. It was just a hand like the thing Adam's family. It was just
Yes.
a hand. So when I saw that, I panicked. I flipped. I threw the covers off me. I jumped out of bed and I ran. So my brother said, "Hey, what's the matter?" I said, there's a hand in my bed." I said, "Was that yours?" He said, "No, I never, I didn't try to get the covers off you." And it was just a hand that came up that had no body attached to it, just like the thing on the Addams Family, like I said. So that was one of my first experiences.
And how did you tell anybody when it happened?
I told my brother what happened. I guess he really didn't think nothing of it. So, but we all knew that we had experiences, paranormal experiences in the house. My brothers, they used to sleep in the attic,
Hmm.
and in the attic they had um, this man and woman. Uh, the man was dressed in a tuxedo. The woman was dressed in a dress.
Hmm.
Uh, they started jumping rope inside in the attic, but there was no one turning the rope. Where these people came from, we don't know. But when my brothers saw this, they started screaming, calling for my mother and father.
Hmm.
Um, they started, mom, dad, there's a man in here.
Wow.
So they disappeared out of thin air, but the only thing that was left was the jumping rope still spinning. And little by little, the string was being pulled taut.
Hmm.
And as that's happening, it started spinning less and less until it was straight and then it disappeared.
Wow.
So that was the experience. So I knew that there was something funny going on, but I was kind of young
Yeah. And
and
how old were you at that time?
I might have been 8, 9, give or take.
Okay.
So that was my first experiences with something unusual that I've never experienced before.
Okay.
Um, as I was getting older, I saw, one other thing that kind of scared me. My brother used to work late at night. He used to get home about uh, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
So so I'm thinking, okay, it's about 2, 3 o'clock,
Hmm.
and my brother wasn't home yet. So I hear somebody coming up I hear someone singing, la 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 la, and as he's singing, he's walking heavy. You hear him stomping. He's stomping on the floor, walking up the steps.
Hmm.
As he's walking, I said, that doesn't sound like my brother, because why would he be making so much noise 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? And as he's singing, it's getting louder and louder. And as she's walking up the steps, we have a banister that you can look through and you can see into my room. So I felt him coming up, though I didn't see him, but I was afraid to look because I didn't know what I was going to see. Hear him coming up the steps, and he stops halfway. As he stops halfway, I felt his presence looking into my bedroom. So I'm trying to turn on the light. I have a pull string. The
Okay.
pull string would turn on the light. Trying to pull the string is moving right, left, sideways. So I couldn't turn on the light. So I had to go up to the base of the light and pull the string on to turn the light on, and then everything went quiet. So I looked under the bed and I see my brother was sleeping. So I was saying, wow, it was I mean, where did that happen? I thought I heard him downstairs, but it just didn't sound like Mark. It didn't sound like my brother. And when I looked down in the bed, I saw that he was sleeping. So he was very much in bed already. And whatever I heard was something that did not belong in the house.
Wow.
That's what
So,
I said.
wow. And so what happened after that?
So after that, I haven't really seen too much after that.
Okay.
But there was one experience that I had. I was in my room. It sounded like everything happened when I was in my room,
Yeah.
in my bedroom.
Okay.
Um, my brothers used to play a joke.
Hmm.
They used to put strings on the door and open the door with the string. to make it seem like that it's being opened up by a ghost.
Uh-huh.
So one day I'm in my room, the door opens up. I start laughing. I said, "Oh, they're trying to play a joke on me again." So, but then the door closed. So I'm thinking, I said, I understand how the door opened, but how did the door close and, close all the way? So I get out of my bed. I go up to the door. I open it. I'm checking the doorknob for a piece of string. There was no string on the outside of the door. So when I opened up the closet door, there was no string inside the closet door, nor was there a person in there. So how the door opened all the way and closed all the way
Mm-hmm.
is a mystery up until now.
Wow.
So all these things, and I'll just say, one more incident
Mm-hmm.
that I was in my room again, and they hear someone calling my name, Robert, Robert. But I didn't hear it with my ears. I heard it in my head, in my mind. So something was calling me,
Mm-hmm.
and that always left an impression. Who's calling me? It doesn't sound like anybody who I recognized.
Okay.
I've always thought about that, and after a while, I just dismissed it. And then nothing, I haven't really seen or heard anything since,
Mm-hmm. What do you make out of that?
you know?
What do you make out of
Well,
that event, you think?
to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
I believe in God. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
Um, that all didn't really mean much at the time. One day, I was young, about maybe 7, 8.
Yes.
There was a show that used to come on, Candid Camera. I
Yes.
don't know if anyone remembers that show, you know, but there's a song that says, "Smile, you're on Candid Camera." So as I'm hearing this song in my head, I'm walking around the house and I still hear the entire song from beginning to end. I
Wow.
hear the entire song and I'm saying, why am I hearing this song? There's no radio on, but
Mhm.
I'm hearing the song, "Smile, you're on Candid Camera."
Wow.
Till after years that I had an epiphany.
Okay.
I said, maybe that was God saying, "Hey, Robert, I'm always here with you. I
Uh,
always see you." And that voice, when someone was calling my name, I like to attribute that to God saying, calling me
okay.
for whatever purpose. I don't believe that.
Mm. So do you think
Mhm.
that did your events start up, your paranormal events start up when you became a Christian or even before you were a Christian?
Well, it started before I was a Christian. I
Okay.
started becoming, as I started reading the Bible and giving my life to God,
Mm-hmm.
more natural things started occurring.
Mm-hmm.
And, all those ghostly things that I used to see, I stopped seeing.
Okay.
Whatever negative feelings or whatever that was in a house, you see, like, as soon as I gave my life to God,
Mm-hmm.
all those negative feelings left. So that now I was able to go upstairs, walk around my house, and not in fear of seeing anything that hurt me, because all the negative spirit or whatever have you was gone. And now I had almost like a boldness walking around my house without any fear of, something happening to me.
Okay. Okay. So my next question, I'm sorry. So my next question is this, like, After those first initial events happened, and then you became a Christian. Um, I remember you mentioned something when you went to a retreat. Would you like to share that experience?
Yeah, we had a retreat um, in Jersey. Um, it's about maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night, and everybody retired, went to the bed. I couldn't sleep, so I was looking out the window, and I see these beings because where the retreat was on like in a farm.
Okay.
Um, they had a swing, they had a seesaw. Uh, I remember those two.
Okay.
But when I looked outside, I see three beings standing around the seesaw and the swing. So I couldn't make out. I mean, I'm looking at them, and they're just staying there. They were kind of illuminated, and they only stayed there for a couple of seconds. Then after that, they just disappeared. I
Wow.
didn't see exactly. I didn't see exactly when they disappeared because they were there for a moment. I looked around and they came back and then they were gone. But I remembered that they were illuminated. They were bright. They were bright, and they were sitting on the swing, sitting on the seesaw. I think there were three of them. And as soon as I saw them, they stopped.
Wow.
They disappeared.
Okay.
So,
Now these people that you saw, you said there was about three of them. Did they look young, old? What were they wearing?
well, they were wearing. I remember they were wearing white. I couldn't really see too much details, but they were just wearing white. I, yeah, and oh, hold on one second, Gaga.
Yeah, yeah.
The other voice.
Wi-Fi is not working.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, so yeah, my wife was just telling me something.
Okay.
So so I couldn't really tell what was going on. I mean, what they were really wearing. I might have been at least, I want to say 30, 40 feet away
Okay.
from where I saw them, give or take. Uh, I don't remember if they were like life size, like small like children. I don't remember. But I know that they were bright, they were shining,
Hmm.
and after that, they just disappeared.
Okay. Now you mentioned that very bright. Do you classify what race or did they look like aliens? What did they kind of look like physically?
Well, I couldn't see details because of the distance. They looked human.
Hmm.
They had human features. Couldn't tell if they were male or female,
Hmm.
but they had human features. But it was too far for me to see any real details.
Okay.
I couldn't tell if they were black or white. I couldn't tell.
Hmm. Okay. And now, what were they saying? I mean, what were they doing? I mean, you mentioned they were some of them on the swing and things like that, but did they say anything, or what were they doing? What were they saying if you heard them?
Well, they didn't say anything. I just saw their appearance. Then after I saw them, I think I might have moved away or was adjusting myself, adjusting my seat. And when I looked outside again, they were gone.
Wow.
So they didn't say anything. They just showed their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, when you saw them, okay, it was like nighttime.
This is at night, about maybe 9, 10 o'clock, give or take.
Okay.
It was late at night.
Did you tell the people that were around you what you saw?
Yeah, I told them, oh, look, I saw an angel. I saw some angels. And they said, well, they said something to the degree, well, this is a retreat. Whenever Christians get together, there's a passage in the Bible that says, when there's two or one or more people talking about God, he's always there in the midst.
Hmm.
So they just attribute that to God sending his angels in the midst of it. So that's what they accounted that for.
I see. I see. And was were there any other times that you saw um, people like this in the retreat? Was it just a one-day event? Did they reappear at a different time?
Well, that happened, I like to say, like 30 years ago.
Hmm.
The, another time that I saw, well, this one I heard, I was in my room, I was in my bed, and I didn't know. This one wasn't so much what I heard, is what I was reading.
Hmm.
I was reading, I was opening up the Bible. And you do one of these, and you open up the Bible, you close your eyes, and whatever your finger presses on. So I said, I'm going to try that. I opened up my Bible, and wherever my finger was placed on, that's what I was going to read from.
Okay.
So I did that, and one that came up in Psalms where it says, "My son," you know, um, it says something to the degree, put my words in your heart, write them on the table of your heart, bind them up,
Uh-huh.
follow these words. But the reason why this was so memorable is because he referred to me as his son
Okay.
when he said, my son. And I took it personal, and I says, wow, God made this a personal uh, event. He made this about me. When he said, my son, put my words in your heart, write them, live them, and so forth. So I found that to be something, something different, something I couldn't explain. But it showed that God was there, that God, showed himself.
Okay.
So I was
Like,
happy.
okay, that's really interesting, that experience. I was wondering, like, you mentioned that happened over 20, maybe even 30 years ago. And you did explain that they were humanoid, but you couldn't tell uh, their details, what race, but you saw the figure and it was very bright. And the unit, what they
Yeah.
were wearing was also, right?
Well, like I said, the distance was too far, and what they were wearing, I couldn't tell because everything was bright.
Hmm. Yeah.
The shirt, I really don't remember, but everything was just bright.
Okay.
And
Okay, someone is asking a question when in the live chat. Uh, the person's name is Ma, Ma, Matizef, something like that. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing the name right. But this viewer is asking, wonder if he had a feeling of fullness around his third eye area or his crown.
no, I didn't feel anything. This seems more than just something from a third eye. This seems like something that was totally out of my control. This is something more of a spiritual matter that God Himself came down and revealed Himself either through His angels or, well, basically through His angels.
I see. You know, I haven't, someone else is asking a question. They're asking about how to astral project. But what that is reminding me of, you had mentioned in the past these experiences that would happen to you on the bus when you're on your way home. Would you like to share those experiences?
Yes. Um, I used to, when I go on the bus, I always go into meditation. Basically, what I do, I close my eyes and I just, so to speak, kind of empty my thoughts.
Hmm.
Whatever pops into my head is what I'll entertain. I was relaxing on the bus and was resting. Um, I anything that I do, I always think about where I used to live,
Okay.
my parents. So the root of everything that has happened to me was always at my parents' house.
Hmm.
So this time I was relaxing on the bus, and when a thought came into my head, and next thing I know, I was at my parents' house. I was in the kitchen. I smelt, I taste, I felt, I saw all of the senses I experienced, and
Wow.
I got frightened. I mean, I can feel the floor with my feet. I feel the warmth in the kitchen. I smelled whatever was cooking or whatever was cooked in the past. All these senses was heightened. I felt everything, and I got frightened because I said I was on the bus before.
Yeah.
Now I'm at my mother's house, and because I got frightened when I shook myself, I was back on the bus.
Wow.
Um, I I didn't feel like the separation between my consciousness and my body. I was just there. I was on the bus first, and then I'm at my mother's house.
Mm.
I had no feeling. I mean, I didn't feel any detachment of my spirit. It was just like as if I fell asleep and I was dreaming.
Wow. And did you see any people there?
No, it was no people there. It was just me.
Hmm.
But again, all the senses, all my five senses, or I should say my sixth sense, active. I I saw, I heard, I smelled, I taste, all the senses that I can possibly have, plus the sixth sense is what I felt, is what it was being heightened.
Okay, like you mentioned that you're a Christian, and when that event happened to you, how did you interpret what was going on to you?
Well, there's a scripture in the Bible where it talks about with Philip when he was witnessing to one of the eunuchs. And after his job was finished, God put him to another location. I believe that God was showing me, putting me into another location from the bus to my mother's house,
Hmm.
maybe preparing me for another episode of, well, another episode of it. But
Hmm.
it only happened once.
Wow.
So because I think I got frightened, it didn't happen again. So I
Wow.
think once I relax and accept the fact that that God can bring me any place, because He's not going to do something that's going to frighten you.
Hmm.
But once I realize that it's not going to scare me, then I can, for the sake of a better word, since they mentioned astral projection, I feel that just for the sake of the word, I'll probably be able to do it again and maybe astral project myself to another state, another country,
Hmm.
or whatever.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I remember you also mentioned something about like you mentioned that there were other events that happened to you while you were on the bus going home, and there was some these lights that you said that you saw, these pillars of light. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah. I was thinking about something. I was talking about if someone was to come into my house,
Hmm.
what would I do if someone was to come into my house? And as I'm thinking that, again, my eyes are closed and I'm kind of in a meditative state. I see three sets of lights, like three rows of lights coming into my house. But as I look down, I have a backyard. I see like hundreds of them, all of them in a row, like three sets. It might have been 100 of them, all in three rows,
Oh.
walking towards my house, walking
What?
towards my kitchen.
Uh-huh. What color
So
was the
what I
what color
saw,
was the light?
well, the light was white.
Hmm.
It looked like a beam. It looked like someone, for the sake of a better word, it looked like someone took a flashlight and shined it on the floor. A
Hmm.
strong beam of light, but there was rows of it, and then there were countless behind them, all walking through the wall into my kitchen. And I was trying to think, all right, if this is me, I'm going to have those beams of light go backwards.
Hmm.
So if it's not me, even though I'm trying to make them go backwards, they're going to keep on coming. So they kept on filtering into the house. If I told them to go back, I mean, in my mind's eye, I'm telling them, all right, move back now, go back outside. But they all kept on walking into the house.
Mm.
And eventually I snapped out of it and everything was back to normal.
Now, how long did that
So
like how long did that vision or whatever what you call it? How long did that incident occur?
that happened, I would like to say about maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
Mm.
It was about that time. It could have been a little longer,
Hmm.
but it seemed like it was a little longer because I thought it was my imagination at first because I have a healthy imagination. But as they're walking in, and I'm saying, okay, let's see if this is really my imagination or this is God.
Hmm.
And I'm saying in my mind, okay, lights stop and go back out. But since it wasn't, they were not under my power, they were under God's power. They kept on filtering into the house. So what I got out of that was that God answered my question: is if someone was to come into my house, what would I do? The
Wow.
truth of the matter is, what God would do is send His angels to protect me. So those lights that came into the house were angels coming to protect this house from any possible harm.
Hmm. That's very
So that's what I got.
that's really interesting about that you had presented a question and then immediately you got a response in the form of these pillars of light. Like I was just wondering if um like your prayers was heard, like that someone from above heard you and they responded that way. I was wondering like if you were ever in physical danger, have these paranormal events have something from above uh, protected you from harm?
Yes. Um, I was walking in the street. I had some mail that I had to deliver. So
Uh-huh.
as I'm crossing the street, I wasn't looking where I was going. I was looking east, and the cars were traveling east. So
Uh-huh.
as I'm stepping off the curb to go into the street, something grabbed me around my arms and pulled me back onto the curb.
Wow.
So I looked around, and there was nobody near me. So I say, you know, I'm looking like, who just grabbed me and pulled me? Because as soon as I stepped off the curb, the, the the beings grabbed me and pulled me to safety. A taxi zoomed by me.
Wow.
Had that not happened, I would have got hit by a taxi.
Wow.
So I would have been in deep trouble if that happened.
How
But
old
after I looked around, huh?
how old were you when that happened?
Um, 26, 25,
Okay.
about
Okay.
that age.
Okay. And was there any other event that happened to you of a similar manner that you were doing something and then something protected you?
Uh, no, well, there was one time that I saw, it wasn't so much protecting me on the train. I told you this or what happened before. I was on the train and I have a long journey home. So I closed my eyes and I was just meditating.
Hmm.
When I on the train, everybody's standing up, holding the pole. If anyone is familiar with the subway, when it gets crowded, you got people sitting down, standing up, reading newspapers. What I saw this time was everything went white. I
Hmm.
mean, everything was the absence of color, I should say. But I'm still on the train, and I see people holding the ball, sitting down, reading newspapers. But the newspaper, like I said, everything was white, or I should say, absence of color.
Okay.
Now, the newspaper that they were holding was blank. They didn't have any writings on it. I still saw people standing, holding the ball to keep them, so they won't fall.
Hmm.
So I looked at that. I looked north. I looked at one end of the car to the other end of the car, and I can tell, I can see depth. I can see like a 3D effect.
Hmm.
My eyes are closed now. So I'm physically turning my head one way, turning my head the other way, and I see people sitting, standing, just, like as if they were just passengers in the train. So I open up my eyes, I look around and everything is back normal. People were there. I close my eyes and it's like I press the pause button,
Hmm.
and after I close my eyes, I press the play button, so to speak. Everything continued. So everything back, uh, people that were there were absence of color, or was absence of any color.
Hmm.
The last thing I saw was a puffy white hand, or I should say, a puffy hand coming towards me.
Hmm.
It was about 4 feet, and it came down 3 feet closer, and then it disappeared.
Wow.
So that happened once. A couple of months or maybe a year later, almost identical happened on the train. That I saw these people on the train that were absence of color, uh, almost identical to what I first saw. But this time I saw the hand again. Now it was from that was only 2 feet away from me. Then it was 1 foot away from me, almost touching my face. I got startled and I moved back, and then everything went back to normal.
I see. Now, when you saw those things happening, like, is there anything that might have you think might have caused that? I mean, were you really tired, or you were right? Were you wide awake? I mean, what might have you think caused it, or it's just one of those things?
I wasn't tired. I was just I always, whenever I have spare time, I always meditate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt this sensation. I can't describe the sensation, but I felt something, a sensation over my body that when I feel that, I'm going to see something supernatural. I'm going to see either an angel or something
Mm-hmm.
uh, that no one else would have seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, what I attributed that, I believe, I don't know, God was showing me that for a reason. And the hand that I saw, I would like to believe that that was God saying, "Come to me. I want to show you something or give you something." But because of fear, because I moved back, it just disappeared. I guess I wasn't ready to receive what He had for me because if I was ready, I would have accepted it, with open arms. But because I showed fear and I moved back, disappeared.
Well, that is something else. That this hand, and it's a hand that you never saw before. Like I noticed people's hands since I used to do people's hands. So the hand that you saw, did it look like anybody's hand that you know of?
Nope. It looked like a puffy hand that was absence of color.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Now,
showed people, when
oh,
I said it before, I said it was a puffy white hand, but the truth of the matter is there was no color to it.
okay. Now, you used to go to church, and when your early days when you used to go to church, um, did different type of phenomena happen to you then when you first became a Christian?
Yeah. Um, my first experience, again, was a vision. I was standing next to the pew, and they had some songs, they were singing some songs and so forth. So I closed my eyes and getting to some meditation,
Mhm.
and I saw a vision was a, um, a castle, so to speak. So I don't know how else to describe it, but it was on top of a hill,
Okay.
and there was a winding road, looked like a winding like an S
Hmm.
shaped road
Hmm.
coming from the top hill to the bottom.
Okay.
But what made this so different, uh, the scenery was kind of gloomy. And instead of, because I thought, because I was a new Christian, I
Hmm.
thought, is this heaven? Is this a rendition of heaven or what? But I said, but why is it everything so kind of gloomy? Everything was dark, gray, and I saw people. But these people weren't walking up the hill. They were coming down from the castle. Since I don't know what else to call it, I'm calling it a castle.
Okay.
And they're going down this snake road. It looked like an S, series of S's coming all the way down to the valley. And I see people walking down. And as they're walking, I'm noticing faces, detailed faces. I see women, I see men, I see fat ones, I see skinny ones, I see one wearing a hat, one not.
Hmm.
And
What color
I
were
open up my,
what race or what color were these people?
they were, they're light skinned. I remember two of them particularly. One of them I called Abbott and Costello, only because one was fat and one was skinny. They
Hmm.
were not Abbott and Costello. They were not Abbott and Costello,
Hmm.
but they remind me of Abbott and Costello because one was tall and skinny, the other one was short and fat.
What were they dressed like? Were they dressed in modern clothes or were they dressed like from a long time ago?
They were dressed in modern clothes. I
Okay.
saw that they were wearing this hat. One of them was wearing a hat, a rimmed hat,
Hmm.
and he was walking down. So I opened up my eyes, and I'm back in the church.
Hmm.
I closed my eyes, and it's like the play button was played again, was started again, and I saw it from the point in which I opened my eyes,
Okay.
and then it started resuming. So as they're coming, they're walking past me, and what made this one so unusual is that I felt their presence. Like, if I put my hands next to your face, either you feel the heat, the presence from me, from my hands. I felt their presence as they walked by me.
Mm,
So, and that might have happened for a couple of seconds. It seemed like a long time, but in actuality, it could have been maybe 20, 30 seconds.
mhm.
And
I
then everything cleared up. Everything was, I was back in my church.
And did you talk to anybody in your church about it?
Yes, I spoke to some people and I told them what I saw. They really didn't know what to make out of it because I was saying, was that heaven? Was that supposed to be heaven? Because everything was dark, was gloomy. And I thought heaven was supposed to be bright, light, sunny, pleasant.
Hmm.
So, if, and that happened 30 something years ago. I still don't know what that meant.
I see. So, fast forward, like in your current lifestyle, what type of things, if any, are happening now?
Well, right now, everything kind of mellowed out because, I tend to be a little busy at work and I haven't really experienced anything else. Like a lot of the visions I used to see kind of tapered down a little.
Hmm.
Now I don't see it much, but a lot of it now is when I'm dreaming, when I'm physically dreaming. I think that's where I'm getting most of everything else. Well, most of my experiences now is when I'm physically dreaming.
Hmm. Okay. I remember you mentioned before about this time you weren't asleep and you were walking down the street and something happened to you. Would you like to talk about that experience?
Now, I'm trying to remember which one. I don't remember which one in particular.
Like you had mentioned something about when you're walking down the street and you saw something and then it disappeared.
Oh, I was walking down. I just saw a presence. And when I turned to look at it, it stopped. It disappeared.
Hmm.
It was happening, I'm not going to say frequently, but I can be walking to my car, walking up the steps, walking somewhere, but I always feel and see something to the to the back of my, to my peripheral
Uh-huh.
or behind me, something. Um, there's one that I saw. He was like kneeling down, picking up something or doing something. But when I turned around to look at it, it vanished.
Hmm.
So I don't know exactly what it is. It seemed like now before I never really saw that before, but now it seemed like a new experience.
Hmm.
Now I'm starting to see more things, spirit that's actually in this realm.
So tell me, like, how recent did that event happen that you're walking and on the corner of your eye with your peripheral, you saw this apparition and then it disappeared. How long ago was this?
That was recent, a couple of months ago,
Okay.
but it was recent.
And what were they dressed like?
I couldn't tell what they were dressed. It was so quick.
Uh-huh.
As soon as I turned to look at them, there was always just out of my reach, out of my vision, out of my field of vision. So
Hmm.
as soon as I try to look, they'll vanish.
Wow.
So I really couldn't tell what they were wearing.
Okay. Did they uh, did they have any, like, even though it was very fast, their expression? Did you capture that?
They, well, they had human expressions, but I couldn't tell if they were black, white, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were human. Well, they looked human.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just where how they portray themselves to me in the human form. But for whatever reason, maybe I'm not ready to see them
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. They just did not present themselves where I can actually see them and communicate with them.
Wow. Do you think you'd be prepared to talk or interview them?
I don't think so. You know, if I saw them, I would still be kind of frightened
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if they're bad or good or whatever. I would like to think that if I see something, I would like to think it's a good entity
Mm-hmm.
and not an entity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So
Um, the type of work you do. Have you ever shared these type of events to people on your job or friends or neighbors? And did they share any stories with you about it?
I told some of my coworkers, but they, I mean, they just take it with a grain of salt. They said, "Oh, maybe you were sleeping, maybe you were tired, maybe you were high." I mean, they say a lot of little things because they, it's not real for them. If they haven't experienced something like that, it's hard for them to really accept what I say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, like have you ever talk explain these things to any your spouse or other family members? And what was the response like?
Well, of course I talked to my wife about it, and she thought it was rather interesting. But since she never experienced it, she can only say so much, or she can just say, well, maybe God is trying to tell you something, and now it's just a matter of when you're willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. Um, I believe when we see something, if you don't act upon it, you're not going to see it until you're ready to accept it. So I feel that when I was shown these things, I wasn't ready to accept what I saw, and that's why there's a hindrance. That's why I haven't really been seeing things much because I'm not ready for the truth yet.
Yeah,
So
I hear you. I kind of understand, like, when you say that I'm not really ready to see or hear certain things. Yeah, that goes with me as well. Like, these days now, you have all this stuff, all this drama that's happening in the world right now, and terrorist attacks, things like that. And being that you're a man of faith, I was wondering whether any of the new things that you're experiencing is prophetic in nature.
well, I would like to think that um, I see a lot of things that's happening out in the world.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not going to say it's so much prophetic, but I think mostly is when you see a lot of foolishness happening, there's a point in everyone's life in which they have to accept what's going on and act on it.
Hmm.
Now, when you look at people, these brave men and women, when they see, when they go to war, I mean, a lot of them are afraid of going into war, they're afraid of dying,
Sure.
but eventually, when you're tired of seeing people being disparaged, people getting hurt, killed, or whatever, there's a part of you that wants to intervene and become an active force in protecting them. And as soon as you can realize that you're willing to um, you're willing to die for a cause, and then things that you've seen you can start to accept. Now, I like to attribute the things that I've seen as something that maybe God is preparing me for. But
Mhm.
because I didn't accept it yet, he says it's not the time. So just like when people are tired of seeing someone getting taken advantage of, first you talk about it, and then eventually you do something about it.
Mhm.
Right now I'm talking about it, but it comes to a point in time in which I have to do something about it. I haven't got to that part yet. I haven't gotten that, that's still I'm working on. But when they when I do get that, they do realize that I have to start acting on things, then that's when things have to, that's when I believe things are going to come a little more readily.
Oh, okay. Now, one of our people in the live chat room, uh, he says, interested in the kinds of meditation he has been involved with, like spiritual breathing, affirmations, or visualization. So I'm going to pose that question to you.
You know, everyone has different ways of meditating. I don't know, well, when I meditate, normally I close my eyes, I try to get in a relaxed position, uh, be it you sitting up, laying down, whatever position that you find comfortable,
Mhm.
and you just relax.
Mhm.
If there's you try to think about, well, in my case, I try to think about something meaningful. If I wanted to see myself in my mother's house or see myself uh, at Florida or whatever,
Mhm.
and then as I'm thinking that, I envision myself physically Florida or at my mother's house or whatever. But that, and then eventually, what I've noticed as I'm thinking it, a lot of times I feel that I'm there.
Wow.
Like I said, still kind of new. I don't know if it's sleep or if it's, or if I'm having an out of body experience. I don't know yet, but it's still kind of new to me. So this whole experience, like I said, is kind of new. So I'm just going through this one step at a time.
Hmm. Hmm. I like that you take a responsibility, that if you're not ready for a big responsibility, then you know you're not ready, and so you're not going to just kind of choke yourself and take on something and fail at it. So you say, okay, I know I'm experiencing these things, but I'm not ready right now, or I need more time. That's being honest, and I think God could deal with someone who's honest with their feelings.
Well, I think that's the most important thing because when you're dishonest with your feelings, you're not going to get any true visions
Hmm.
with a lie. So that's why I try to be realistic.
Hmm.
If I do something and if I'm not able to do it, I'm not going to try to put myself in a situation. I have to be ready for it.
Hmm.
I don't know if I really said well, but I have to be ready for it. And if I'm not, I'll probably make a shipwreck of it. So that's why I'd rather do it when I'm comfortable and when deep down inside I feel that I'm ready to do it.
Hmm. Wow. And is there anything else you want to share with the viewers regarding your experiences as it pertains to your faith system, or advice you can give people who are experiencing these different type of phenomenon?
Well, I would say If you notice that it's getting a little dark, 'cause I'm walking around because I have to charge up my phone. My batteries are starting to die.
Okay, no
But
problem.
what I would suggest anybody, if you wanna, you have to have a belief in something. If
Uh-huh.
you don't believe, you know, I believe in God. You have to
Mhm.
believe in something because there is something out there, and that is God. Have that accepted, and then anything else that you follow through with, you can base it on God's goodness.
Mhm. I see.
Hmm.
I see. Well, I can't think of any more questions right now. I see that we've been on for 1 hour, and anything else that you think that would be important for the viewers to know about your experience, or something else that
Well,
you think is important?
well, a lot of the experience that I've had happened during 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of the experience that I had, it's not like it happens every day. Even if it happened once a year, it's something that has happened that it took all this time. It's not something that I always experience. I think once I start devoting my time to uh, such experiences, I think I'll be able to give you more of an insight. But right
Mm-hmm.
now, it's just something that doesn't happen frequently.
I see. Well, I remember you mentioned before. Would you want to discuss about um, this chamber, this I forget what you call it. So like a water chamber, and use some Morrison water. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we had. Well, you first was telling me about that. That you submerge yourself. It's this water it's salted water that I'm just trying to find a plug before my phone completely goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone is getting low. Give me 2 seconds. I got that. Um, it looks like a tub for the sake of a better word. It looks like a tub
Okay.
that you go in. Is it body temperature and it's salted.
Yeah, the deprivation tank.
Uh-huh. Okay, now we're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's called a
Now,
I
the
think it's called a deprivation tank.
yes, the deprivation tank is it looks like a bathtub with a lid. You go in it after you clean yourself off first of any sweat or whatever, and you go into the water. The water is body temperature, and the room that you go in is pitch black. You can't see anything. Um, and also, the tub also has a lid that you go in. So when you go in, lay on your back, and you close the lid. It's completely dark. You can't even see your hands in front of your face. That's how dark it is. Now, the purpose of the deprivation is to remove any outside forces, such as touch, smell, or anything like that, so you can just relax. And because you don't see anything, you're depriving, you really can't see anything, basically.
Hmm.
You can't you can't see, you can't feel because the water is room temperature. And only thing that you're really hearing, you can hear the splashing of the water, but all your other senses is kind of numbed, so to speak. You really can't, like I said, the fact that you couldn't see or feel gives you a greater chance of relaxing and putting yourself into an altered state. And that's ultimately what you want is to be able to put yourself in a relaxed state, an altered state of consciousness, so that you can experience maybe out of body experiences or visions or whatever.
Okay. So, so when you went into this tank, and again, this tank is supposed to be body temperature, the water, and you're buoyant. You know, you're just floating naturally on the water because of the high salt content, and it's pitch black. Um, what was your what was your experience when you went into this thing, and how long were you in this tank when you had an experience, if any?
I was in it for, it was 1 hour. Uh, you're in the tank for 1 hour. And what I saw after I closed the lid and I was submerged in water, about a few minutes after relaxing and trying to meditate, I saw something that was a little startling. I saw this black, I should say, a dark figure.
Mm-hmm.
Almost looked like a shadow,
Uh-huh.
and it looked to me, it looked a little demonic.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little frightened when I saw it because that's something that I didn't really want to see. So they have a light inside the tub in
Mm-hmm.
case you get scared. So I don't know, everything stopped. So
Wow.
once I relaxed, I turned off the light. I started meditating again, and I just felt relaxed. I didn't really experience anything outside of that of relaxation.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. So so this apparition, you said like it was a like a gray, a dark shadowy color. Did it say anything or do anything to you?
Nope, it just moved around. It was on top of the cover. I'm looking up at the cover because I'm on my back, and I see something moving like a shadow moving side to side, and that's when I got startled.
Oh, okay. Wow. Do you think
Mhm.
you would do it again?
Yeah, I would definitely do it again.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe I would definitely do it again. I'll say that, yes,
Okay.
without any hesitation.
Hmm. I see. Now, I can't think of anything else. Anything else you want to share with the viewers um, before we go?
No, I think that's pretty good. I think I shared. I think I whetted their appetite enough. So I think we can conclude it with that.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you coming and taking your time from your busy schedule to come and do this interview with us. It really means a lot to me. And you're the first person that I interviewed. And
And
I,
hopefully not the last.
I would definitely like for you to come back on again when you have new experiences, things that you want to share, and tell our audience about it.
I would like that. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to sign off now. But again, thank you so much for sharing and uh, continue having the visions that you are having. Okay?
Okay, Spirit Journey, I greatly appreciate it. I had a great time. I'm looking for more experiences and like to share with your folks.
Okay, thank you so much. So you take care and you have a good night. Okay?
All right, good night. Have a good one.
Yes, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Wow, that was really nice. I really enjoyed that interview with him. He made it really easy for me to ask these questions. And wow. And I'm just wondering, any of you on I'm looking at the live chat on the side of me here. And yes, someone's saying very good and blessings. Yeah, I appreciate you viewers who participated in this, my first live chat. And yes, thank you for making it exciting too. You know, the more the merrier. And yet you could continue writing your comments. And again, you know, each one teach one. And the reason why I'm doing uh, live live broadcast is that a couple of weeks ago, no more than 2 months ago, I was watching a video on the subject of extraterrestrials, and one particular YouTuber also watched the same video that I watched, but they went a step further and they wrote a comment. They were angry with the interviewer that they didn't ask the person being interviewed a particular question. And so I was upset about it because I said, you know, the interviewee was gracious enough to do the interview. And not everybody is going to, maybe they may not want to have gone more in depth with the question. And so I feel you have to respect those other people. And then it dawned on me. I said, you know, uh, rather than getting upset with how someone interviewed and that they didn't really plowed in and really went further with the questioning of the particular topic. Uh, hey, maybe I could be an interviewer and find out, you know, and ask people about their experiences. And, you know, it's so easy to criticize others who are behind the wheel. And, you know, you have the passenger and, you know, and they have a different perspective. But when you're in the driver's seat and you're taking the time to set up the computer station and to call and contact the people, you know, you have to remember that it takes two for an interview, and some things, you know, a person may not be really ready to answer. And again, with my channel, Spirit Journey, I'm not about it's not an interrogation. I'm not a police officer. You know, I'm not here to make someone feel uncomfortable or berate them. My channel, Spirit Journey, is about exploring those things that are happening. And some people may not want to, you know, they're afraid. But it could be happening to a lot of people, but everybody's afraid of sharing. And so my channel is about breaking the silence and coming forward and sharing with people my personal experiences or my thoughts on particular topics, and in hopes that maybe the other people, the viewers out there, will respond back and be able to communicate with each other. You know, if we don't talk, how do we know what's going on? You know, and I'm also interested that, you know, being someone of color, and the particular YouTuber was addressing a question pertaining to Black extraterrestrials. I've never seen that, but it's not up to white people to do all the research that will interest Black people. It's not their job, but it's your job, if you're interested in that topic, to interview people, not to wait for other people, other groups to do it. And so I want to take that responsibility of things that I want to know about and be the interviewer and be able to share with the community topics that are not discussed. You know, you have everything but certain topics. So I want to break ground and talk about those things that we're not talking about. And I feel that certain topics should be talked about because it's hurting us. You know, there are a lot of things that I want to discuss on my channel, and I'm finally taking the initiative to do it. You know, it was just a couple of years ago that I started this channel, and I used to be very timid and afraid to open my mouth. But now I'm starting to really find my voice. So I would like to get your feedback on this video and what topics you want to hear about, um, regardless what your background is. You know, all are welcome to watch Spirit Journey, and I value all your opinions, you know. So I'm not to dominate any conversation. I want to respect the other person. So I really would like to delve deeper in the topic of what we call the paranormal or the supernatural, or what they call the secret space program, extraterrestrials, and the super soldier program. That in particular, I want to talk to people about. So, if any of you out there are would like to be interviewed, um, I have a, you can contact me through YouTube to message me, or my email, which is um, spiritofazalea@gmail.com. And so when this video uploads, I'll try to type in that information if people didn't understand what I just said. But it's Spirit of Azalea. Azalea is spelled Azalea at gmail.com. And you can write uh, your experiences, or if you would like to be a guest and discuss your experiences as it pertains to what they call uh, the super soldiers, the secret space program, or if you had what they call paranormal, or um, what do you call it, close encounters. I'm interested in all those things. That's one thing that I notice in our community, that it's not really discussed. Uh, and I'm hearing more and more about people being, what do you call it, kidnapped. There's a kidnapping ring. And that's what I want to talk about. And I want to actually have an opportunity to talk to two particular YouTubers about their experiences as well. So that's all that I want to share right now. And again, I really appreciate you guys participating, and for Mr. Rogers, who was our guest today, our first guest, that he took the time and he gave a really wonderful interview. So I thank him again, and I thank you, people in the live chat who participated. So you take care, guys, and be safe. Bye bye.